Digging to Nico Harrison's sudden departure, the Mavs just fired their GM, citing a frustrating start to the season with a 3-8 record so far. They're second to last in the Western Conference.
Lead sports anchor Joe Trahan is here, and after he traded Luka, a lot of Mavs fans wanted this to happen.
Yeah, listen, I mean, those fire Nico chants, they were real, and they feel heard now, and they should, because their voices were heard, and all those chants had an effect. But the biggest issue was Harrison's inability to recognize the connection between Luka Doncic and this fan base. So he made the trade that you just couldn't. That set the stage for his ouster, and the Mavs' awful start to this season was the final nail. Joining me now to talk more about it is Nick Angstadt from the Locked On Mavs podcast. Now, Nick, we talked about the possibility of this last night at the game when we were sitting right next to each other. Were you even slightly surprised it happened this soon?
I was surprised because I was sleeping, but other than that, no. I mean, this was coming, right? Like the fire Nico chants kept going. Team wasn't looking good. And honestly, the pressure started building on Patrick Dumont to make some kind of move because he is the only other one culpable in this Luka trade. And so all of a sudden it's like, all right, well, we got to make some kind of move to either quell the fans or bring them back in some way because fans are starting to not come to games. They're still pretty full, but there's some empty seats here and there. Fans obviously have been leaving. I talked to so many Mavs fans, and so many of them have told me like, hey, I'm done. Like I canceled my season tickets. I'm done. I'm moving on to another team or another player or something else. And so he had to make some kind of move, and this was the one.
The trade of Luka Doncic and the awful way the organization handled it in the aftermath obviously set the stage for this. You're at every home game, and you really have your hand on the pulse. Were there some other things that you heard about bad developments within the organization?
Yeah, there are other things Nico Harrison handled that were not just the Luka trade. I mean, you could talk about the other trade that he made with Quentin Grimes and Caleb Martin, where Caleb Martin came in and then he was injured, and then the Mavs didn't really do their due diligence on the injury part, or the Sixers lied or whatever, and then the Sixers had to give them more draft picks, and then Caleb Martin really wasn't a part of what the Mavs are doing until Quentin Grimes went off and became really, really good. So there's that trade too. There's the mishandling of the Jalen Brunson situation at the end of his tenure with the Mavericks. Then he goes off and becomes an all-NBA player. That became eventually Kyrie Irving. So there's like all these kind of things here and there publicly where you're like, okay, that's fine. But then there's the things about like sending Casey Smith off, and he ended up joining the Knicks. Then there's this whole issue with Dirk Nowitzki, where Dirk is kind of like hands off of the franchise right now. Before the Luka trade, he kind of had a hand in doing things for the Mavericks. He was like attending practices. He had some kind of role with the Mavericks. But now he's just like, he has nothing to do with them basically at all. I think the last thing he did with the Mavericks was like a welcome video for Cooper Flagg, and he didn't even address the franchise. He just said, welcome to Dallas, the city. And that was the thing I think that was one of the biggest things and biggest eye-openers to me, that something had changed internally, is that Dirk Nowitzki was keeping an arm's length away from this franchise. And that was a really bad sign, and you cannot have that if you're in charge of the Dallas Mavericks.
And finally, real quick, Anthony Davis and Kyrie Irving are both Nico Harrison guys. Do you think they're going to ask out, and this could lead to a complete teardown of the roster?
Anything is possible at this point, especially for those two guys, where Kyrie Irving has had he's had a renaissance here with the Dallas Mavericks. And so maybe that is something that he looks at and says, hey, it's the franchise, it's these fans, it's the situation, and I like it here, and I like what I'm doing here. Or he looks at it and says, this was all because Nico Harrison took a chance on me, and I want to go win somewhere else. I don't think this is going to be the place for it, because he's also watching these games, Joe, and he sees how this team looks. And I don't know if he thinks, all right, if I come into this, I'm going to fix this and turn this 30th offense into something that could be a championship contender.
All right, great stuff. Nick Angstadt from our Locked On Mavs podcast. I'll see you soon, bud. We started streaming on WFAA Plus as soon as reports of Nico Harrison's firing were announced. If you want to watch our breaking updates and stream content on demand, make sure you download the app WFAA Plus.
Great.